It's very common for a child with ADD or ADHD to be labeled the problem child in the classroom. That's because so often children with attention deficit problems are misunderstood or undiagnosed. Well, my next guest saw this and so much more as a teacher for more than 15 years. Judy McNamee also recognized that these children are creative, fun, energetic, loving, and they just need a little help in order to reach their full potential. So Judy became a coach, and she's here to explain along with one of the parents that she works with, Karen McCarty. Welcome, ladies. It's nice to have you here. Wow, Judy, what a great idea. You know, I think this is wonderful. I never heard of an ADHD coach, but boy, I can assume that is really needed.
It is. ADHD coaching is a specialization of life coaching, and it's a unique alternative. It's very effective by itself, but it's also effective in conjunction with other ADHD treatments.
This is not something to just do by itself. You think it's to do with other things.
It can be
even
both.
Sometimes medication.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
People may think, well, if you're a coach, then you don't necessarily believe in medication. That's not necessarily the case.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's just an effective alternative. It's another tool, Gail.
So how does it work? What happens when you see a child?
Well, just like a coach, given athletes, develop skills to help those athletes. That's what we do. So we work with ADHD children, in my case, teens 14 years on up, and we work with those teens to develop skills to manifest their strengths. As you mentioned, you know, there's amazing positive qualities in ADHD people.
And when someone comes to you, what are some of those benefits then of coaching that they will get out of those sessions with you that possibly that wouldn't happen if they weren't seeing you?
Well, many of the ADHD people struggle with what we call the executive functions, and they don't understand exactly how their brain works, first of all. So that's first and foremost, is to provide education. How does my brain work? How is it wired differently? So we embrace these strengths, we manifest these strengths, we work with organization, emotion, time management, all those things that all of us really need in order to function successfully on a day-to-day basis.
And you are finding that because they're a bit older, kids are grasping these ideas that you're presenting them.
Well, kids don't know their brain, and that's what's so amazing. We want them to be educated how their brain works. They're not broken, they're simply different. And so we want them to embrace it.
Let me ask you, Karen, you say 2 children with a diagnosis. Is it ADD or ADHD, your children?
My understanding is they group it all under one category now, so it's all ADHD. My kids don't have the hyperactivity, but they do have the ADD. And I think that these kids are very misunderstood, and a lot of times they're labeled in school as being lazy and unmotivated. And
you saw those labels on your own children.
Exactly, and I think society's just very uneducated, and as I was talking with Judy, the education system as we know it now, it's broken with regards to ADHD. They teach more to the mainstream, and it's not really the teacher's fault, because I have a good friend that's a recent graduate as a teacher, and she said she had 1 class on ADHD. And it's becoming more and more prevalent, as Judy was saying, probably because it's being diagnosed more.
So you really did get a lot of help from Judy's coaching. Your child did.
Yes. McKenna struggles mostly with organizational skills, time management, and I think in an accompaniment with ADHD, you have a lot of anxiety and low self-esteem issues, and I think I definitely have seen positive changes in McKenna. She's becoming a lot more organized. Her work would be completed, but it would end up in the black hole. She would never get it turned in. And
the dog ate it.
Yeah, and
but
it was always
something.
You know, she really didn't know what happened to it.
And that's frustrating for a parent too. And I know, Judy, you could see these things as well, helping parents. But you also support them along the way, not just a counsel session and then that's it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I work not only with the teen themselves, but with the parents, because that is the teen support system. So if the parents don't understand the ADD or ADHD,
True.
They have to speak the same language, Gail. So it's kind of what I term it as a sprinter's brain and a long-distance runner's brain. both are very vital, but those with the ADHD are the sprinters and those without are the long distance.
And I know you have an event. We could talk so much more about this, but you have an event coming up that you'd like to invite folks to if they have issues like this with their child. And I know you want to invite folks to come out to see you and to meet you and to find out more about what you do.
Absolutely. There's a free 30-minute consultation for anyone, and you may sign up on my website for that. In addition, I have monthly newsletters for parents that provide monthly strategies and information. There's a free teleconference coming up November 7th. I have entitled Flying the Coop, and that's really to ready both parent and the child to be successful after high school.
Well, we hope they reach out to you if need to. Judy, nice to meet you, and thank you for sharing your story here.